Yo, what's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, October 16th. As you can see, I'm wearing another cowboy hat. I have a collection. And one of the reasons I put this hat on is because I saw in some of the comments that it just pisses people off that I'm wearing a cowboy hat. Some of you like it. Thank you. I happen to love wearing cowboy hats. I have a whole collection. But some of you get pissed off that I wear cowboy hats. I don't know. I guess you're thinking like it's appropriation of the cowboy style. And I'm from New York and I should not be allowed or something according to your values or whatever. I should not be allowed to wear a cowboy hat. Well, I'm wearing one whether you like it or not, okay? I like the cowboy lifestyle, I like the outdoor lifestyle. And I like these hats, all right? So if it bothers you, you got a problem. Because if you come on here and you make comments about me wearing a cowboy hat, I mean, what does that say about you? You are pissed off about the slightest little thing, and that's on you. I'm sorry. Anyway, let me get into today's video. Somebody asked me a really good question because, yesterday I was talking about that. I don't call the deficit a deficit. I call it net government transfers. I just said yesterday that the term deficit has too many negative connotations, and not often, but pretty much all the time, it's completely misunderstood, and it's placed on, like it's some kind of burden for the private sector or something like that, when in effect the deficit is on the government side. This is why I always talk about everybody has a single variable analysis. They just, whatever side is the bad side, that's what they tend to focus on. And I said the deficit is the transfers from the government to the non-government. That's us globally. So I mean, the bigger the deficit, the better for us, because we're getting those transfers, okay? And it doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be inflation, because first of all, I've said, if you're a capitalist, which I think most of you are, then automatically you should not believe that higher net government spending results in inflation, because the whole idea behind capitalism is the profit motive. So like, when the government spends, if you're a capitalist, you gotta believe that private firms and enterprises are gonna step up to meet the demand of that spending. That's what capitalism is all about, having customers. What's the difference if your customers are the government or some private individuals or households? I mean, it's where the spending comes from. So if you automatically say that government spending leads to inflation, then I'm sorry, you're not a capitalist. If you could, only if you could show me and prove to me that that spending is going into an environment where the private sector, the supplier of that demand, is not able to meet that. If you could show me that, I'll agree with you. But just if you're going to say off the cuff that government spending equals inflation, then you're going to have to say that any kind of spending equals inflation, which means that you don't want firms, businesses to have customers. Very simple, okay? But anyway, I got sidetracked here because I wanted to talk. Somebody asked me a really cool question yesterday. They said, because they picked up on the fact that I don't say deficit, I say net government transfers. So they asked me, well, Mike, what would you call the national debt? All right, which is a totally ridiculous term. And at first I said the national debt is the non-governmental asset, but I think that's going to go over most people's heads. So the real way to phrase the national debt, or to say the national debt, is the total dollar supply. Very simple. It's the total dollar supply in the world. That means all the dollars the government spent that it didn't take away permanently in taxes. That's what's left. The stock of dollars in the world held by the non-government globally, and they just hold it in the form of treasuries, which is like a savings account. All right, it's like if you let's say you have $1 million or 100,000 or 50,000 in your bank account, and you just put it into your savings account. If it was in your checking account, you switched it to your savings. That's all it is. So the best explanation or the best terminology, and I'm going to use this from now on, and I thank that person who asked me that question. What is the national debt? It's the dollar supply, the global dollar supply. That's it. Very simple. And just like I was explaining with government spending, if the dollar supply goes up, and if you automatically say, oh my God, that's going to be inflationary, then I'm sorry, you're not a capitalist. And you might call yourself a capitalist. You might think you're a capitalist, but you're not, because then you're just completely jettisoning the profit motive of a capitalist system where demand, as represented by more government spending, you're going to have capitalists that are going to meet that demand with more supply. I mean, it triggers more production. It triggers. Now, yes, there can be a point where that spending exceeds the ability of the economy to provide the goods and services that are demanded by that spending. We saw that happen in the pandemic, okay? When the whole entire global supply chain was shut down, when people were forced out of their jobs, so there wasn't the labor and the productive capacity to meet that spending demand. Yeah, it happened, but that was an aberration. That was not capitalism. That was government shutting everything down, not just here in the United States, but globally. They said we have to shut down, we have to isolate in our homes. That was a mistake, okay? But to just automatically say that government spending equates to inflation, I'm sorry, that's wrong unless you could show me why that spending necessarily leads to a shutdown in the ability of producers to meet that spending. You got to show me why every time if the government ramps up spending, that producers are not capable to handle that. I mean, they're always, if you're in business for yourself, you know this. You're always looking for more customers. Customers are the basis for your business. It's the basis for your income. It's the basis for your wealth. It's the basis for taking care of your family and everything else and your employees. You're always looking for customers. And to say that if there's more money, which gives customers a greater ability to buy, to purchase your goods and services, no, I don't want that. Then I'm sorry, and at the same time you're saying that government spending is bad, it's inflationary, then I'm sorry, you're a hypocrite. You're wrong. Anyway, that's all I want to say about that. So from now on, I'm not using the terminology, well, I hardly ever do, but I'm not using the terminology national debt. I'm using dollar supply, global dollar supply. All right, before I let you go, I just want to say I went to the range today. I got to shoot, and because I got a new scope for my rifle. I wanted to check it out. And I have to say to you guys, the range was packed today. And it's a Wednesday afternoon. I went on a Wednesday afternoon. It's usually not like this. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Maybe people are freaking out about the election. I don't know. Maybe they're just, they've been away for a week because of the hurricanes. and they wanted to get back into it. But the range was packed today. And I enjoyed my scope. It was good. And but it was only like a 25-yard. We have an outdoor range here not far from me. I think I'm going to check it out on Saturday. And it's a 100-yard shot. So that'd be good to test out my scope. Anyway, that's it for today. Please like and subscribe. And go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial to MMT Trader. See you tomorrow. Bye.